What did you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off. Stop this nonsense of going against dudes that either ain't boxing or is 25 years removed from the sport.
You know, yeah, you want to make as much money as you can when you're boxing. Of course you do. And you do your deal and you negotiate, and then really you forget about it, because actually it's not the money driving you every day in the gym. You know, you need to sort your business side of things out.
Stephen A. Smith just tore into Jake Paul for calling out Anthony Joshua, and he didn't hold back. Smith made it clear, it's time for Paul to face real boxers, not YouTubers, aging legends, or unknown fighters. He dismissed Tommy Fury as a true challenge and mocked Paul for taking on a 58-year-old Mike Tyson.
The time has come to get in the ring with boxers. And Tommy Fury don't count. Nor the no-name dude that you caught with an uppercut and put him down in the first or second round. Nor is it the 58-year-old Mike Tyson.
Stephen A. Smith has questioned Jake Paul's work ethic in boxing, challenging him to be transparent about his training. In response, Paul insisted he takes the sport seriously, despite assumptions that he's just playing around. He emphasized his dedication, hard work, and commitment to improving, determined to prove his doubters wrong and earn recognition as a legitimate boxer.
Tell people what your workout is like, and tell people how much you work on boxing and being in shape.
Waking up, you know, at the track, running 800 meter, 400 meter, 200, 200, 800, 400, 200, 200, 200, sparring, sprinting, all types of workouts, push-ups, pull-ups, sledgehammer, tire flips, jogging 5 miles after that, abs, getting punched in the stomach non-stop, and then doing it all over again the next day. Ice baths, recovery, yoga, meditation, visualization, manifestation of winning the fight. And I think people get confused by me promoting the fight. They think I'm just like messing around by making these skits and having fun. And they think I'm, you know, not going to come in and take this guy's.
Jake Paul claims that Stephen A. Smith's team reached out about having him on Smith's podcast, but despite Paul contacting Smith directly, he received no response. This suggests possible miscommunication or scheduling conflicts. By publicly addressing the unreciprocated contact, Paul may be trying to prompt a response from Smith or call out perceived inconsistencies in his criticism.
I literally changed the channel from watching Stephen A's First Take to watch BS with Jake Paul. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's why we made this show. Stephen A. Smith, bro. Your team texted my team and said that you wanted me to text you to come on your podcast. So they gave me your number, I texted you, and you never responded.
You left him on red.
Stephen A. Smith has criticized Jake Paul for choosing to fight boxing legend Mike Tyson, arguing that if Paul is serious about the sport, he should face opponents closer to his age and skill level. Smith believes that calling out veterans like Anthony Joshua, who have far more experience, does little to prove Paul's legitimacy. Instead, he insists that for Paul to earn respect in the boxing world, he must take on active fighters with comparable talent. By targeting older or more seasoned opponents, Paul risks being seen as chasing publicity rather than truly testing his abilities.
And buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody, pretty please, with sugar on top? I'm interested.
Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly questioned Jake Paul's choice of opponents, arguing that he mainly faces non-boxers or those past their prime. In response, Paul defended himself, claiming he tried to fight Tommy Fury, but Fury backed out. This marks a crucial stage in Paul's boxing career, While he has defeated former MMA fighters and older boxers, he has yet to consistently prove himself against young, rising boxing talents. His loss to Fury was one of the few times he faced an active boxer in his prime. While Paul insists Fury avoided a rematch, critics argue that if he truly wants respect, he needs to fight more boxers like Fury.
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. His brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got scared.
Stephen A. Smith has criticized Jake Paul's ability to handle powerful punches, dismissing the notion that Tommy Fury seriously hurt him during their fight, as Fury isn't known for his punching power. Smith argues that if Paul wants to take on bigger names, he must first prove he can withstand real punches. He remains unconvinced that Paul has been truly tested by a fighter with genuine knockout power.
And have we seen Jake Paul get hit by anybody? It wasn't by Tommy Fury. It damn sure wasn't by Nate Robinson. Okay, it wasn't by Nate Diaz.
I think he took some big shots. He took some big shots from Fury.
Fury doesn't have big shots, Kyle. He can't punch. That's the one thing he can punch.
Not like a legend like Mike Tyson, but Stephen A. is 58, bro.
I agree.
I love Tyson. I don't even want to be saying this publicly, but it's Prize Picks, so we got to be truthful. I don't want to see it, but I think it's going to happen.
I don't want to see it either, but here's what I'm saying to you. I'm thinking it's going to be a long night, short night in a bad way for Mike Tyson because of his age. I get that part. What I'm saying is no one has hit Jake. So what if Jake finally does get hit? What do you think will happen then? We've never really seen him get hit.
Stephen A. Smith has made it clear that he wants Jake Paul to face real boxers, but not world champions or legends. He bluntly told Paul, "You are not ready for a world champion." Addressing Paul's interest in fighting Canelo Alvarez, Smith dismissed the idea, stating that Paul is nowhere near ready to compete at that level. Instead, he believes Paul should prove himself by working his way up before challenging top-tier fighters.
You don't think that you're ready for some guy like Canelo Alvarez, though?
I am beyond ready.
Jake, come
I
on,
beat
man.
Canelo
God,
Alvarez.
Stephen A., you're just not happy with anything. First, you're like getting there with a real opponent, and then you're like, you're not ready for Canelo. You're not that crazy. Well, make up your mind.
What is your name again?
My name is Julia.
You can't sit up there and say I'm not happy with anything because I'm saying get in with a real boxer. But in the same breath, I'm like, you ain't ready for a world champion.
But I'm beating world champions in sparring.
Okay, I didn't know.
A fight between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez was reportedly close to happening, but was halted due to Turki Al-Sheikh. Paul had been pushing for the matchup, which would have been one of the biggest fights of his career. However, for now, it seems the fight is off the table.
Basically, everything was ready to go. 1 yard line, signed LOI. Basically, Turkey hates me. Absolutely hates me. We heard through the back channels for multiple weeks because we've been negotiating since the Monday after the Tyson fight. So we were negotiating for 2 months straight.
That's a lot of time.
And the whole entire time, Turkey was doing everything in his power to strip the fight, try to not make it happen, calling Canelo, calling Eddie Reynoso, basically saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? To the point where he had to threaten Canelo to pull his 3-fight deal. You're not fighting Crawford. I'm not paying you any of this money. And he's basically paying him over $100 million for this random fight in May. And Canelo at some point is like, okay, you bought me.
Andre Ward has also weighed in, stating that boxers don't get frustrated when someone like Jake Paul calls out legends. He dismissed the idea, saying if it happened to him, he wouldn't take it seriously, adding, "I don't have time to entertain the circus." Ward's comments suggest he views Paul's fights as more entertainment than real competition. Many professional boxers share this sentiment, questioning the legitimacy of Paul's bouts.
Where Canelo's coming from. Anybody for that matter. If, like you said, if you've been in a fire, how dare anybody come to me and act like I'm supposed to fight you? And, you know, you're a YouTuber that turned to boxing, and I'm a champion walking around here, and y'all acting like I need him. Do you think they're justified in feeling annoyed when people come at them like that about Jake Paul?
I understand completely where Canelo's coming from. If I was an active fighter, I wouldn't entertain it either. You know, when you in the fire and you still in the game like that, you got real issues and beef going on. You got real opponents, like dudes that can really hurt you, that you need to figure out how to beat them and when we go fight and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to entertain the circus. I don't have time for you to have my name even associated with a dude that ain't really a fighter like that. So I understand completely with it. He ain't got a lot of time to entertain that kind of stuff, but you know how it goes, Stephen A. People say they're not interested in something until that number get large enough and all of a sudden start making a lot.
There have been ongoing claims that Jake Paul's fights are rigged and that he handpicks opponents willing to fight for a big payday. Some believe his bout with Tyron Woodley was staged, fueling speculation that Paul carefully selects his matchups. These accusations have followed him throughout his boxing career.
Hey, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but I know you probably signed an NDA, but blink twice if that Jake Paul fight was set up.
Blink twice.
I know you probably.
I don't never blink because I got these liberty eyes. I don't need much air, you know what I mean, to keep them open. A lot of people wonder that, but think about this. If I say Rampage pay you $2 million, right? That this dude beat you, what you gonna do? You gonna feel disrespected, number one.
Yeah.
Right, that ain't enough money.
Yeah.
But I got paid in the Jake fights. For me to do that, I gotta be willing to walk away for good, and they gotta set me up for a while, at least not for life, but something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade, because that's what you would have to do. Would I do something like that? You would have to know me to know I'm too solid of a guy to even have somebody walk to me and ask me.
Yeah.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. Before we fought, I said, hey, you can knock me out and I can knock you out, and I'm going to try to fuck you up too.